Hey, how are you? It's the PremierTalk TV episode 2, game week 6. I'm DJ Schillinger, your host for today. We got some familiar faces, and we have a new face down from Aussie land, the land of the kangaroos. So yeah, let's go around. Let's introduce ourselves and talk about the teams that we support. Parker, go ahead.
What's up, DJ? I'm doing good. So I support Tottenham Hotspur. For the last 10 years now. It's been tough, but I think this is our year. So I'm excited, baby. Let's go.
I'm James. I support Man United, so I've got my gear on, and I'd like to say it's our year. It's probably not going to be our year, but I'd rather die optimistic than the opposite. So yeah.
And what's up, everyone? I'm Kelmend. Some people call me Kelmo. United, clearly, through and through. Man United from when I was born, came out wearing a United jersey. Also United's biggest critic, though, so might be saying some harsh things over here.
Beautiful. Thank you for the introduction, gentlemen. And lastly, I'm the resident Arsenal fan, up the gun. And badge is over here, a little backwards, but here we are. So boy, game week 6. We kind of have an idea who the pretenders are a little bit. So with no further ado, let's hop into the first talking point. So Brighton have started off significantly better than they did last year. De Zerbi's got them playing incredible ball, and they show no sign of slowing down other than what maybe we just witnessed when it comes to the Europa League, right? So, Kelman, what do you think? What makes the team tick?
That's a great question. I know I said I'm United through and through, but today and for this year, I'm a Seagull.
Sorry.
Dude, I'm a Seagull. I'm bought in to everything they have doing this year. I think their focus is the league. They're not as worried about Europe right now. They want to finish high in the league. They want to prove that they can contend in the Premier League. And just how they play, it's great. They're not scared to play slow. They're not scared to play ugly when needed. Going back to the United game, there were times where they just sat back and made United attack, and that's what led to their beautiful counterattacks and beautiful plays and goals. And that's something they can do. But like I said, only for this year. I feel like they remind me of Leicester. You can only go so many years losing your top players every year and stay on top. So I really
wait. The Leicester that got relegated or the Leicester that won the title? Just really quickly, because there's a big difference.
That's exactly my point. Like Leicester coming in, then little by little they were losing 2 players, 3 players a year, and got worse and worse. And you can only go so long with losing your top players and stay at top form. So I think this year is a big one, but little by little, year after year, I think it's going to slowly start going down.
Kelman, would you take Welbeck back on Manchester United after they scored against you guys?
No, absolutely not. He's done. He's not a United player anymore. He can score.
We got Johnny Evans back. We might as well bring Danny Welbeck. Just bring the lads back because we need to do something else. So.
I will take a lot of players from Brighton. I don't know if Welbeck's one of them.
Because Manchester United used to be, back in the day, anybody that came to Old Trafford, they knew they were going to lose or at least maybe get a point, maybe the theater of dreams, but that's just not the case anymore. I think now clubs are going there thinking, I think we can get a point out of this at least, maybe a win, no matter what now. So it's just things have changed over there.
Yeah. Well, let's not segue this into Manchester United yet, right? We got something to talk about.
Let's talk about. We're talking about Brighton.
I know that James needs to say his piece, but on Brighton a little bit. I thought it was an interesting concept or interesting comparison you made to Leicester there, Kelman. I'd almost compare them, maybe not to a certain extent, but what they're building right now, it's pretty exciting. They can lose their best players for hundreds of millions of euros. But what they can do is still compete and play beautiful football. And I think it's kind of similar to Dortmund a little bit, at least in the Bundesliga, right? They're taking all these young talent, at least mostly from South America. But, I mean, you see Japan with Matoma, guys that are overlooked, and they're making them into superstars, and they're okay with losing them. Dortmund's been okay with losing them even to Bayern Munich, right? So I kind of like the comparison you made, but I honestly think they're a little more like Dortmund. And honestly, they play a sexy kind of football, to be honest with you. I watched them last year against Liverpool, break them down with just multiple passes, moving within the midfield, even though Liverpool doesn't have a midfield. But they were able to just sauce them up, get it out wide, and just beautiful combination play. James, I know you're going to say something, man.
Oh, go ahead.
Sorry, Parker. I think It's always hard because I feel like they did okay, like 2 seasons ago, and then last year they were obviously really, really good. And then they're probably breaking the mold a little bit of these teams that like just appear in the top half and have a really good season and then kind of drop off. You've seen that with, I guess, like maybe I'm looking to see that from Brentford this year. They did well last year. A lot of the times it's like the 2 season hangover, which seems to like maybe fall. I mean, like Burnley, honestly, before Burnley got in a relegation battle, they came like 7th or they were top table, and it shows you the swing, the pendulum. You know, like if things going your way and things going well, and that's why I feel like it's still early in the season. So I'm just kind of chilling on it a little bit and just letting to see how they play out. How do they deal with being in Europe? How do they deal with, like those long schedules, being in all these different competitions? I think to speak about their transfers, they have like this big loan army, right? So for the past like 2 or 3 years, they just have like, if you went and look at their outgoing transfers, their outgoing loans, they're just all these players are on loan, and they come in and do a good job. So that's probably what sets them apart a little bit. I think the fact that they have such a wide range of available players, or their scouting system is obviously on a different level to some other teams. So for me, that's the most exciting part. I think like the scouting and how they find all these gems in the rough, and to speak to Kelmend's point, probably comparable to Leicester, where they bought Kante and Mahrez for like a combined like 2 mil or something like that. Crazy. So if they can keep on doing that, sure, but like, is that sustainable? Isn't everybody kind of doing that? So we'll just see. I think it's too early to say that they're, going to be up and comers and staying there. So I think it's just important to see how they deal with maybe a little bit of controversy or a little bit of injuries, long schedules, that kind of stuff. So I think it'll be quite telling how it goes, especially throughout the Christmas schedule, where it's just like packed with games. So we'll see how they've already lost their first home game away first home game in Europe, and they lost. So who's to say it's not going to come crumbling down? I'm a little bit skeptical, so we'll see how it goes. I'll be the odd one out.
First ever European competition game, right?
Yeah.
That's a little tough. A lot of pressure on.
Give him a break. Give him a break, James.
Yeah, like
it's weird. They got James Milner's playing right back. He's like 37. You've got to be. It's just interesting when you obviously where you're at. You'd think maybe 5 years ago they wouldn't have a 37-year-old playing at right back. So are they going to start falling into this fallacy of like signing these players and then they're not working out and then they just like go off a cliff?
Well, 5 years ago they weren't even in the Premier League, mate.
That's the point that I'm making. They wouldn't have had someone that's 37 playing right back because they had exciting young players. So
I'm convinced of Brighton. I don't even think it was a shock result against Manchester United last weekend. I really don't. I think they've been impressing us for a while now, right? And I don't know. I think like when you sell your top players, right, you're going to make a lot of money, but most of the time you're just going to be like straight line kind of thing. They're just keep going up, right? They haven't stopped going and doing better, even though they've been losing their best players. And I think a lot of credit has to go to like De Zerbi, right? And I'm thinking Manchester United might need a new manager coming up soon. What do you think about De Zerbi, guys?
And doesn't this segue into our next point, though, gentlemen? Erik ten Hag.
Yeah.
He finished already. He's been blundering the Premier League. He's had a lot of injuries. And then the Champions League, what a kind result, because 4-3 was not evident of what that game actually looked like. Anyone?
Go on, Kelmend. No, Kelmend, please.
All right.
Yeah, please, Kelmend.
Wait, so speaking on Ten Hag, the first part of that, I think we still give him time. Sure. I'm not sold on getting rid of him. We've gotten rid of so many managers so quick, and it's still the same circle, same cycle that's continued to happen year after year. So I do not think it's time to run away from Ten Hag. There's a lot bigger problems other than him. Obviously, quality of players is one thing. Upper management above him is another huge problem. But speaking of that result, I completely agree. 4-3, for people that didn't watch the game, 4-3 looks good. But if you watch that game, it was not a 4-3 game. It was a 6-1 game, 6-0 game. And that's one thing with that score that I don't like about it, is now that, especially with the players, they think they played good, or they think they had hope. Bruno's post-game interview was him saying that, oh, look, we scored 3 goals at Bayern. But Bayern stepped off the gas. United went down 3-1 and they were walking around the whole time, and then Casemiro scores 2 lucky goals. If they're scored by forwards, fine, but it's Casemiro who scores little headers on the ground, lying down, taps it in.
But it's still set pieces count. You can't just say goals don't count because it's Casemiro scoring them. Who cares? I don't care.
I'm not saying they don't, but it's Bayern stepping off the pedal, and then just the expression, the body language from United after being down 3-1 was just awful.
Yeah, I felt
you guys have a lot of problems off the pitch too, right? Not even on the pitch. I mean, you guys constantly have notifications about players, Jadon Sancho, and not even to mention like Greenwood, obviously, but that's gone. That's over with now. But so I don't know. I feel like if,
a lot of injuries too.
If you guys were winning games, like then I feel like the Sancho thing would probably be just like not even in the news at all. You know, it doesn't matter. You guys are winning games, but you're not. So just you guys are being put under the like radar right now. You know.
The Sancho thing and like all those things, just like Kelsey, I guess like between having a bunch of injuries and or suspensions, whether it's by the club or whatever, like that's, I think it is Ten Hag the issue. Like I don't think you could look at it and say like yes, Ten Hag's the problem. I don't really think. I think it's a bit unfair. I think we're like 5 games in. To be quite honest, I have a slightly different opinion where I thought we were actually really, really good in the first, up until the first goal. I thought we were the best team on the field. For sure against Bayern. I thought we were really good. I thought we played out really well. I thought we pressed them really high. They could not get out. I thought we had a good plan. I thought we could have scored in the 4th minute. To be honest, I thought it was a penalty, so it was a bit wild. But I thought it wasn't all doom and gloom. The first goal went in. That's when I thought like the heads went down, Kel. So I agree with you. I thought the first goal went in, and then the body language was shit. And then we conceded the second one within 2 minutes, and my body language is shit on the couch. So I can't imagine what they were like in crisis mode. And then I mean, fighting back, it's always good to score goals at the end of the game. Like, yeah, it wasn't good after that, but like I definitely saw things where I wasn't like upset. I thought it was going really, really well. I was quite happy, and then that happened, and it changed everything, and it kind of ruined the game a little bit, at least from a United perspective. So I don't think Ten Hag's a problem. Kelmend alluded to it. I've mentioned to these guys separately that like the wage structure is just like crazy. How can you care when you're getting paid $350 a week, $350K a week, whether you're playing or not playing? And it just seems like they're bloated salaries, and it just
prima donnas.
It kind of, that's the vibe they're giving off, and I hate that because that was never part of our club. But now,
so why don't you think it's Ten Hag's? I know you guys are Glazers out. I mean, you guys make that very clear. But why don't you think it's Ten Hag's problem? I mean, he's been there for 18 months now. He's bought a lot of players, and they're most of like his players that he likes, and they're not doing very good.
He can't get rid of most of the other ones. So the other ones are on such fat contracts, such long contracts that nobody wants to buy them. We can't get rid of Maguire. We finally got rid of Fred. You can't get rid of Martial. All these players nobody really wants, and they're on such fat salaries they don't really want to move on. So I think it's kind of like stalled the squad turnover that we've had. I think Ole Solskjaer had like an interview recently where he talked about the Glazers and how they don't like to buy more than 2 or 3 major players a window, something like that. So the fact that we're not like recruiting like crazy, we've made that mistake before. I just feel like we gave the reins to a capable coach. Just relax. Everyone just relax. It's not time to push the panic button. Just chill. Yeah, DJ, go on.
DJ, you want to
jump in? Jump in.
I got something to say too, but I'll let you go first.
Yeah, cool. Let me preface this by saying Ten Hag actually has a great winning percentage right now at Manchester United. I think it's like 63, 64%. So I'll give him his flowers, but that's about all I'm going to give him. I think watching Man United as a fan has got to be frustrating because you don't have a style of play. I have no idea what you're going to do each time you play them. Maybe high press, and then once you obviously inevitably once they score the first goal or something like that, you drop off, and then you guys just love getting the pressure. Your transfers are a mess. Anthony, you can't tell me he's anywhere close to what you paid for him. Jadon Sancho, you paid what is it, 70 mil for him, and the guy doesn't even want to play for your club. You got a doughboy as your defensive midfielder who's fat in the face. And the guy can't move, man, and you guys still are hanging. Like, yeah, he had 2 goals. Great. I think he might be your best attacking presence in his defensive midfielder. I think it's an absolute mess. I do think that you guys have an injury problem at the moment, but man, I don't know how you can't see I don't see any progression. I don't see an identity anymore. I don't even know what's going on. No. I don't. But yet, it's not the manager's fault. It's everyone else's fault. What are you talking about, man? Like the guys that you named, Martial was the only person that's maybe a cancer to the locker room. You can't sit here and tell me a slab head is a problem in the locker room. The guy loves Manchester United through and through, right? I don't think he's going to say anything in the locker room. I don't even know who your last guy was because I was so frustrated listening to this argument of defending 10. I'm losing my marbles here.
So of the
you
last
guys deserve better.
There's been the last 3-4 managers, it's been the same issue. And like how are all of them doing something wrong? Yet the same core leaders, you have Shaw, you have Maguire, you have Rashford, you have Martial, and I'm even going to throw Bruno on there because I don't think he's the leader.
That's your captain.
Bruno's got the worst attitude I've ever seen in my life. That I don't know how that guy can be a captain. But when you have leaders like that don't go all out and don't like scream and sacrifice themselves, every game is part of it. And yes, the coach can help with that, of course. But I feel like just like players, all players we get are tier 2, 3, 4 level players. We never sign top players. And the same thing with managers. Who was the last top tier manager? Mourinho was probably the last one, but that was past his prime.
Yeah.
Like even managers, we're not even going for top tier. So again, like I said, the level is above the managers. This is a ownership in that kind of level where they just need to leave and let others handle that job.
Well, I would argue that you signed 2 world-class players in their prime. So Casemiro, whether you say he's in his prime or not, as a defensive mid, you can actually age pretty well and still develop. Or not develop, but you could still produce good performances. And then Sancho at the time was ripping up trees, man. Everyone wanted him in Europe, and he landed with you guys. So I think
that's why he was so expensive.
Yeah. There. Yeah. So I don't know. It is a mess over there. I'd rather not talk about it unless anyone has anything further to say. James, are you okay?
Yeah. Nah. Obviously, am I okay? No. Look what I'm wearing. Look. No, I'm not okay. I'm not doing well, right? But I still think it's just relax. Everyone needs to calm down. Our transfers have been fucking awful for like a little bit of time. We overpaid for Maguire. We overpaid for Anthony. Yes, we did. Like, no doubt. They're not worth that money. We needed somebody in that position. Those are the only ones that were available that were top tier at the time. So we just had to pay. And the fact that whenever we pay for someone, we overpay because people just bend us over a barrel because they know we have the money, and then they just, and then we have to pay, so we get screwed. So that's like, sometimes they're not worth that money. But I mean, those in glass houses, like, I haven't heard about Pepe in a very long time for Arsenal. I forgot he was even playing for you guys. And then how much was he? 79 mils, 69 mils, something like that?
72, but I do sympathize with you a little bit when it comes to having a big brand as a club. I mean, everyone wants to go there, but to buy a player, I mean, they're going to steal it out of your pocket, right? So let's talk about a smaller club, Spurs. trying to build a big brand themselves. Do they have a chance of winning silverware, gentlemen? Parker, Go ahead. The floor is all yours.
Yes. This is it, man. This is finally the season with a manager that actually, has an idea of how to get the players moving around, right? And how to get them to perform at their best. Because just last season with Conte, the players didn't like playing under him. They didn't like just playing defensive football. And when I look at last game, even we were down 1-0, I think at the 80th minute. And all the Spurs fans are saying, okay, here we go again, right? Another season where, we're just going to fall. Like, we have a good start, but then we're just going to fall down again. And, he made 3 substitutions, and they were different than what we've seen before. Usually, our managers in the past don't try to change things up. They're very stern with, their formation and how they play, right? But Ange was like, no, we're taking out a center back. We're down 1-0 or 1-0. We're taking out a center back. We took out Van de Ven, and he's like, I don't even care if we lose, 2-0, 3-0, even if we give up more goals, I don't care, but I'm going for a win. And he just has that, those balls and the guts to do that. And the players are responding, man. So as far as silverware goes, I'm not convinced yet this season. It's still too early. We already got knocked out of the EFL Europa Cup, or not the Europa, God damn it, Carabao Cup. So, I don't think so yet. I think we'll give, Liverpool City like a run for their money, but I don't think so yet. I think he needs some more time, Ange. I think next year, when we finally, I think we're going to get Europe though. I think we're a shoo-in for Europe this year. So that'll be something we can look forward to next year. So, but yeah, I'm not totally convinced we're going to win something this year, but I think it's a huge improvement from the years past. So.
Yeah. Can I ask you a question? Oh, go on, Jesus. Go on.
Yeah, no. I noticed that he didn't say a team when he said Liverpool, Man City, which was really interesting. There is another large gun in the title race.
You guys are not the team that you were last year. I don't think. Yeah, you just don't have like the flair like you did last year. Like last game against Everton, you guys just barely survived for a win. Like you got the job done. You're getting the job done, but it's not like that. It's not something to look back on and be like, oh, did you see that game against Everton? Like, no, like to be fair, you guys got the job done.
So when you win games and you look good, people play a low block against you. Just wait till that happens. I don't think it will because I don't think you guys are very good, but and we'll see this weekend on Sunday. But anyways, I digress. Enjoy your Mickey Mouse Cup that you already kicked out of. I guess the two guys down here enjoyed it themselves. That's the only silverware they won, and they call it something.
Last year.
So, hey, let's talk about the Community Shield.
No. To be fair though, with Arsenal, even though they're grinding out those wins, that's what Arsenal does. They grind out these wins. If they're not playing good, they still find a way to get a result. That's what they're doing.
I'd be interested. How many 1-0 wins did they have last season? I'd be interested to see. I think you're right. I feel like you squeaked out
quite a bit. They would always squeak up until the end of the year. Once it started going not their way, and that's what made them obviously not win the league and end up.
You're right. Like if you can win games, no matter what, even if you play bad, you're going to be competing. I'm not saying you played bad, but I'm just saying even if you do, then if you still win and get a result, then you have a chance of fighting for that title. I think. So.
The best.
Arsenal are in there.
Win games like that for sure.
Kel James, what do you guys think? Silverware for Spurs this season?
I don't know.
No chance, mate.
There's no chance. I'm a Spurs fan. There's no chance. Anyway, so
no. You know what I see about Spurs, and honestly, to be fair, it's quite nice. But everybody over there is having a really fucking nice time, holding hands, jumping up. Woo! We like games. This is nice. Score goals. Fuck off. You guys are not good. I feel like competing against big teams. We'll see because you have a big test this weekend, so we'll see how you do. I am a little bit jealous that everybody is it's a really feel good vibe around the club. But I have to is that because it's been destroyed for the past 5? You went from challenging for the title with Pochettino and expecting to try and push for these big trophies, and now all of a sudden it's we're happy having a good time, it's just a difference of mentality maybe, and I think that's fine. You have to build yourself up somewhere. So I'm not not shitting on that. That's fine. But at the same time, you're a top tier club. You should be pushing to challenge in some sort of competition. I don't know which one. You get to dealer's choice. I don't know, but I really don't think you have the quality to compete in the Premier League, at least just as much as United doesn't really right now to compete with the top of the Premier League. I don't think. But at the same time, it is nice to see you being, Spurs fans. Honestly, where have they been for the past year? Now fucking here they are. They're all very happy, just like Arsenal fans. You guys come out when, it's very nice to see a lot of you. But,
you're right, James. We really haven't improved ourselves yet. We beat you guys, so
yeah, exactly. So we're the bottom of the barrel, mate. So we're not the benchmark that we used to be, unfortunately. But yeah, I really don't see. To be fair, I just think there are stronger squads, and I think. Give it a year, maybe. They build up some cohesion. Maybe bring in a couple more players that he thinks will fit a system. Yeah, I could see you definitely competing. But right now, I don't know, Kel. What do you think?
We don't have a striker yet either. So sorry, go ahead and Kelmend.
Yeah. No, I agree completely. I think still with getting rid of Kane, expectations were 0 for Spurs, and that just put a chip on everyone's shoulder. So now they're playing with that still. Once things start settling down a little bit and schedules get busier, they're gonna start falling down, and they won't be able to get the silverware, especially after already being out the only one they had a chance to win. What are they in now? FA Cup? That's it? No shot. No shot. Teams actually care about FA Cup a little bit more than the other one. I don't even know the name of it. That's how much no one cares about it.
We've won the FA Cup 8 times, so we haven't won it in 32 years.
91?
Yeah, 91.
Hey. That's when they beat Arsenal in the semi-final, by the way. Gazza scored a banger of a free kick.
Oh, yeah, I know. We were talking about that on the other pod.
Yeah,
Gaz and Coins. Yeah, free kick against Arsenal.
Well, you could take that memory. I think we have 20 of them. So, all right. Anyways, back to the top 5 next year because that's what qualifies for Europe, I think, or the Champions League with the new format.
Champions League should be top 5, yeah.
So right now we currently have Man City, Liverpool, Spurs, Arsenal, Brighton. Is that the team? Are those the 5? Are they going to represent the Premier League in Europe next year, the Champions League? And if not, please make your case. Parker. Or no, Kelmend, you go first.
All right, no shot. It's way too early to tell. City, Liverpool, and Arsenal, yes. There's no chance I will think Spurs can hang on to what they're doing. Could they? Yes, but in the long run, I don't see it. And I will never count this early Chelsea and United out still. I know they haven't looked good, but I wouldn't count them out. Chelsea had made so many changes. They still have a top-tier coach. I can't count them out. Obviously, my Seagulls, my new team, the Seagulls, I'm thinking we can pull through.
I couldn't disagree more with you, Kelmend. I couldn't disagree more.
There's honestly there's like 9 good teams that have a shot.
Listen,
take them out of there. There's 8 good teams that have a shot of getting in the top 5.
Yeah,
top
I mean,
3, I think are set. The other ones, any of the others can get in there.
Yeah.
Predictions, just from you.
Just from me. Liverpool's winning the league. I'm going in order here. City, Arsenal, United, and Brighton.
Okay, James, speak on it. Is that the top 5 already?
I completely agree with Kelman. Man, it's 5 games in. How can I maybe there could be a range of injuries and half a team could fall off the face of a cliff and so I think it's too early to say, but I think definitely Man City, Liverpool, Arsenal squads are too strong. Although very interested to see how Arsenal do over the course of the season with Europe. And then I guess you got a small squad, man. So we'll see how you deal with injuries and rotation. Don't get all defensive because it's a small squad. We've already seen that the injuries have affected you. So we'll see how it goes. When there are more fixtures. Same thing I talked about with Brighton.
Hasn't impacted us.
So we'll see. The other 2, I want to say United optimistically. I think Kel's right when you can't rule out a squad like Chelsea's and Cuckoo's coming back. There are a lot of players there. I don't think they know their best 11. So I think it's very hard to tell how they'll be when they're all together. Spurs, Chelsea, United, Newcastle, Brighton. There's 2 out of those 5. So we didn't even mention Newcastle. So
that's what I was going to say. I think Newcastle are going to come out really strong in the second half of the season. They had a tough beginning. They won the first game, and everyone was like, "Oh my God, Newcastle again are going to be crazy." And then they lost 3 on the bounce. But then they just won again last week. So they're really good defensively. Defensively last year, they were really good defensively, and I feel like they just need to keep getting clean sheets, right? And that's the only way they're going to win. I feel like because that's how they did it last year. I think Eddie Howe is gonna figure them out, and I think they're gonna come up. I don't think they're gonna get to top. I think they'll get 6th or 5th. I don't think they're gonna get in the top 4, but I think Brighton are gonna be up there, right? Because they've scored more goals than Manchester City this season already, and it's only 5 games, like you said. But I mean, the table is how it is, right? 5 games is a good amount of time, and I mean, I know it's a long season, but I think Brighton are here to stay. I know they have a busy schedule this year, but I still think they're gonna get that Champions League spot. And then Newcastle right behind them. So, but then I didn't say the top 4 though. So top 4: Manchester City, Liverpool, Spurs, Arsenal. There we go, baby.
Fair enough. Yeah.
Liverpool look like themselves again, right? I mean, their defense is kind of shaky, but they've got a brand new midfield. They revamped it. They figured out their problems. They've won 6. They haven't won 16 straight. They haven't lost in 16 straight Premier League games. Liverpool.
Yeah,
that's not really scaring anyone. James, I didn't get your predictions, by the way. At the top.
United. Sorry. Almost said United reflect out of reflection. I think City, Arsenal competing for the top. I think Liverpool will be there or thereabouts. Right, it could be just between those 3 sides. I think Man City, Arsenal, Liverpool, Chelsea, and then United, and then Spurs. If I had to put Spurs down there, but I think those other teams are a little bit too
Why
strong.
Chelsea?
So I think
I'm
it's
just
gonna go there.
curious.
Yeah, I don't get it either.
I
Because
don't understand.
I think when
literally
they
have no
click-
idea what's going on.
When they click, like they've had so many signings. When they click, I think Pochettino's a top manager. To be fair, I think when they click, they're gonna be decent. They've got players coming back from injury. They haven't found their style, their first 11. I think they got too much quality to struggle for much longer.
I don't understand his tactics. He's playing players out of position. They have no. They can't play. They can't even score goals at all. So do you think maybe Ivan Toney is somebody they need like in January because they need a goal scorer? Or if they get a goal scorer, maybe they can, move up the table to 10th, 11th, or maybe 9th.
What we're seeing in the Premier League now is that nobody wants to sell to Premier League rivals. So I would be very surprised if Brentford sold Tony, their striker, even though suspended right now. I don't think they'd sell inside the league if they couldn't help it.
Brentford's a Moneyball team, man. They're gonna sell to rivals. Yeah, what are you talking about? It's just like Brighton selling. If the money's good, they're gonna sell.
Yeah, and Chelsea have the money that they'll just overspend for him. So
and then
Parker, they need it. They need it so bad.
Parker, you said Spurs are gonna get in the top 5.
Yeah, they're gonna get 3rd.
Oh, okay. All right. Well, I'll make up my top 5.
We're second right now, so
optimism. It's good.
And we play Liverpool after Arsenal, so it's going to be a tough.
That's a big couple deciding games, yeah.
Yeah.
Go on, Deej.
I'm gonna look at the top 5 a little bit. So what do we say? Man City, Liverpool, Spurs, Arsenal, Brighton. Teams that are gonna fall out of that. I definitely think Spurs will fall out, and I definitely think Brighton will fall out. Spurs just don't have the depth. I think they play fantastic footy, but I think all it takes is Maddison getting injured, and this team is in crisis again. What was incredible, what unlocked you guys a lot, was the creative spark that he brings to your team. We're finding passing lanes we've never seen before. We see a dead ball specialist we never had before. All we had was Son and Kane shooting on goal, basically. Who's your backup to that, real quick?
To Maddison?
Yeah.
We have Star right now. He starts, but
okay, that's all I need to hear. You don't have a creative midfielder.
We don't have a backup for Maddison really right now. So you're right, yeah.
So I would say, just off of watching what happened in my season last year, we lost Saliba and we had nothing to replace him last year. I think if you lose a key component to that, honestly, I'm not wishing an injury on anyone because that's horrible. Kelmend and I both tore our ACLs. It's besides the point, but it's just like
it's part of the game.
Yeah, it is part of the game. And I would hate for that to happen, but I do think your depth just isn't there for a top 5 finish. Brighton, I'm a little hesitant to say that because they brought a second team to United and beat the piss out of them, which was hilarious. But, I mean, if I'm going to give a top 5 prediction right now, I think Arsenal's winning the league, City second, Liverpool third. I mean, I got to do it, man. I can't hide.
No, you have to. Yeah, I get it.
I can't temper expectations anymore. We spent too much money this summer, right? And I do think Declan Rice is a Rolls Royce of a player.
100%.
So that's my top 3. 4 and 5. Chelsea is nowhere near. I think Chelsea maybe gets, if they're lucky, 9th. I think Chelsea is a mess of a club. I think it stems from the ownership, not like the same way United fans like to point at the ownership. I think they just keep buying players that don't even mesh with each other. Their midfield's a mess. Everyone's injured. Even when they come back from injury, they'll have no idea how to figure it out. I think you won't see a good Chelsea till probably after Boxing Day, or a good Chelsea, a cohesive Chelsea. And by that time, I think it's too late for a push. Because I think a lot of the teams that are in the top 5, top 6, top 7 right now are going to be on fire, and it's going to stay that. I think that we're going to see a massive gap, is what I think.
Between what, the 4 or the 3? Between who and who? Sorry.
I think there's going to be, so before, right, you see like, you see a big gap between like the top, well, first of all, top like 2, and then you see a big gap between like 3, 4, and the rest of the field. And then that's kind of how it usually goes, right? It's a 2-horse race. It's a 3-horse race until Christmas, and then there's a 2-horse race, and that's kind of how it goes. Sometimes Man City just runs away with it, and that's how it is, right? The romantic in me thinks Arsenal's going to just push on. I think it's going to be a 3-horse race the entire year, but I do think that Chelsea doesn't have what it takes to push on to the top 5. So for me, it's going to be Newcastle's going to get in. No, Manchester United will be 5th place. I think 4th place. Actually, I'll give Spurs 4th place.
Yeah. That's right. I put Arsenal too.
I can't actually sit here and think that. No, I don't think Newcastle has what it takes. I think they could take a lot of positives from what the result they got at San Siro, but if you watch the game, they got absolutely dominated by an AC Milan team that are a bunch of, I wouldn't call it Premier League rejects, but guys that kind of flared out or got injured.
So that's so rough. That's so rough to summarize.
They sold their best midfielder. I don't know. They sold their best midfielder, Tonali, to Newcastle, right? And dude,
I was wondering, what do you think he's thinking when he's playing there and he's playing for Newcastle at San Siro and he's thinking, "Fuck, we're getting bastards."
That dude was flirting with AC Milan the entire game. What are you talking about? He doesn't want to be at Newcastle. No one wants to be at Newcastle.
That's a tough place to go and play, though. That's a tough place to go and play and get a result. And I mean, they grinded it out and they at least got the draw still.
Right. So
let me ask you a question really quickly, DJ. Just in defense of maybe Parker and Spurs a little bit. What team besides Man City can replace their best players with, equally as good players, or maybe just a slightly below? Like, what team has that where their best player is like, oh, he gets injured, okay, well, we have him to replace him. Like, if Odegaard gets injured, who's coming in and filling that role for you?
You're not gonna like my answer, but I think Fabio Vieira has showed that his quality throughout this year.
It's fine. It's opinion based, right? So I'm just interested. I'm thinking if Bruno gets injured, like, we're fucked. Like, I don't know. Even though Kelmend doesn't like him, I think he's like part of the lifeblood of our team. I'm thinking like if Liverpool, if Mo Salah gets fucked, like who's coming in to replace him? Like, I don't know if they have somebody that can, So it's
Liverpool have a lot of attacking options. So Gakpo
that can replace Mo Salah though.
Well, no.
I mean, I think they'd be okay without Mo Salah, honestly.
No. Liverpool is very top heavy, and I think their midfield is still not as good as what Slavozlai. I think that's how you pronounce his name. Kelvin, you might be able to correct me there.
No.
Okay. But he's a fantastic player. I love it. He's got an engine on him, but I don't think he can play defense at all. I still think their defensive midfield is very weak. And they have an aging back line. TAA can't defend to save his life. They're going to ship goals, man. They could score goals. Don't get me wrong. I think they're probably. I think they the best offense if no one gets injured in the league.
I agree. They have so many options.
But I just think they're not a well balanced team.
Yeah.
But to answer your question, James, who has the best depth in the league besides Man City? Yeah, I'm going to be a homer and say Arsenal. I think we have more depth than we did last year. Our Achilles heel last year was Saliba going down. We had Takahiro Tomiyasu, which is so much fun to say.
I was going to say, I like you saying that. It's fun.
I really enjoyed that one. But no, dude, he was injured too. And we watched his quality versus Japan versus Germany. He shut down the German attack all game. I mean, I think he almost got player of the game. If you look back, when it comes to statistics, I mean, he had a fantastic player rating for the game. I think the guy is quality. He doesn't get a start every now and then. He might when Zinchenko can't play defense against a good attacking player, but that's where I'm at. But let's move on, gentlemen. Actually, one thing of interest: no one said West Ham and no one said Aston Villa, even like a
actually. No, I was going to say Aston Villa, actually, because I love Unai Emery, man. I think he's one of the best managers in the world, honestly. I think he's top 5 managers. What's that?
I agree, Parker. He's just making fun of him because he didn't work out at Arsenal, even though I agree with you. I think he's quality. I think he's very good
too,
man.
I agree.
Yeah.
I like him.
He does a lot for every club he goes to, right? Like,
I guess the final question for everyone, Kelmend, what do you think? Who finished higher, West Ham or Villa?
I'm gonna go with Villa. I just think they have a deeper team, a better attack. West Ham, although they're playing well right now without Rice, I don't think it's gonna sustain.
Yeah.
James?
I think without like a question in my mind, Villa, I think West Ham are wank. I do not like them. I don't rate them. I don't think they're good. I don't care if I'm starting fights with people right now. I don't care. I think they're a very, very poor team. I think they're lucky. I think when they win games, I don't see, I'm like, oh yeah, they play really well. I'm like, oh shit, West Ham won again. Like, I'm very surprised every time they win. And maybe that's just a personal thing for me. I don't rate them. I don't think they're very good. And I think Villa, Emery is a fantastic manager. I think they have a lot of really good players. So yeah, I think Villa for sure. They got a lot of pieces coming together.
So for me, I really think West Ham's going to finish above Aston Villa because even though I said Unai Emery is a great manager, I think they're going to focus on Europe this year, right? Because he's a European mastermind, right? He's won 4 European titles already. So I think they're going to focus a lot on Europe. And I mean, West Ham did that last year, right? They almost got relegated, but they ended up with a title. So I think that's what Aston Villa will do this year. And I think West Ham have a big threat right now in midfield. Bowen, Ward-Prowse now is on their team, gets a goal or assist like every game. He can get a result at the end of the game if they need it, the last second, free kick or what have you. But yeah, I think Aston Villa, I think they're going to focus more on Europe, and I think Unai Emery can win that competition, the Conference League.
Oh yeah,
I mean,
sure. Yeah,
Parker, I honestly have to agree with you. I think West Ham's going to finish higher than them. I think West Ham had made some with the right money. The players they brought in, James Ward-Prowse has obviously proven the production he can make in a team that is actually capable of doing anything in the Premier League, other than sitting with Southampton and being a dead ball specialist. I think Kudus was a fantastic signing from Ajax. Hopefully, he stays healthy for someone's fantasy league, I guess.
Ajax signing will work out.
You think or no?
Yeah, just from experience. Listen, trust us. Trust us. Don't sign players from Ajax.
Timber, that one hurt. Oh, there's Timber, that one hurt. But
it helped us though.
I like what West Ham did, and I do think that Aston Villa might fall because they might focus on Europe a bit too much.
Why would they focus? It makes no sense though. Why would they focus on Europe when there's no money in Europe? When they're playing in the Europa, why would they not focus on the Premier League where you just get so much money for finishing higher? I don't understand. When he's prioritized the Europa League, he's been in.
He doesn't care about money about the club. He doesn't care if the club's rich. He wants to get a title. Right?
Yeah, he's a trophy hunter. I agree with Parker. He's a trophy hunter. Look at him, the way he was with Sevilla. Sevilla never actually did anything in the league.
That's because Sevilla playing La Liga when you can't win the league against Barcelona and Real Madrid is not going to happen. So you have to focus on other things.
How's that different with Aston Villa? How's that different with Aston Villa?
Because the Premier League is so much. There's so much money for going higher in places. You get more money.
And Aston Villa are a rich club already. I mean, yeah, they want more. Yeah, dude, they have a lot of money.
I just don't think. I don't think you need to focus on the tournament they're in. Like until you're in the quarterfinal, they don't need to put a crazy focus on it because you're not playing top teams.
Sure.
They'll be able to get.
Unai Emery knows how to deal with Europe, right? I mean, I don't know. I think.
Yeah.
We'll see. I don't know.
Well, West Ham needs a striker, right? So at this point, that's the only deterrent I have from saying that West Ham will be a top 6 team. I think they're going to fall apart, but I don't think they're going to fall far. Anyways, let's round this out with match predictions. So this is going to be like just a little fire round. We're going to go around. I want 3 sentences from each person just because we're getting there on time, right?
Yeah.
Crystal Palace, Fulham. Kelmend, go.
Palace at home. They've been looking good. Their attack's been good. On the wing, Eze, and is Oliso playing or is he still injured?
Elise.
I don't know.
Elise.
I have
no idea.
Eduardo. I hope I'm saying these names right.
There you are.
He's been having a good start to the year too, but I think Palace is a good home team. I think they got it.
James.
Yeah. Same. I think Palace have too much for Fulham at home. Yeah, I agree. For all the same reasons, I agree. Yeah.
I mean, I think this is going to be a great game. I think they're both going to pretty much end around the same place on the table. I think Fulham are a good organized team, man. And they're missing a striker though. I mean, they have Vinicius. We had him at Spurs for a little bit, just not quite, up to par. I mean, he scores goals, but I don't know. I still fancy Fulham on this one. So.
All right, we're going to keep going. Wolves versus Luton. Okay, Crystal Palace for me. I think Wolves are going to win. Kel.
Wolves. Luton haven't proven anything so far.
No.
Yeah, I think you got to say Wolves, but I think at some point Luton are going to beat somebody at home, and it's going to be the biggest celebration that town has ever seen. So, I don't know when it's going to happen. It could be this one. I don't know what team it'll be, but they'll beat somebody, and it'll be absolutely insane. So. I still say Wolves, but not surprised if Luton somehow pulls something miraculously out.
It'll be Wolves. I think they did pretty good in the first half against Liverpool last weekend, right? They scored. They were up for 45 minutes against Liverpool. So, yeah, they'll win, but they need a striker as well, Wolves. So.
All right. Tally it down, written in stone, Neto goal. All right. Anyways, Man City versus Nottingham Forest. Man City, I think this is
Holland hat trick.
Unanimous. Yeah, Holland hat
Haaland
trick. Okay.
You don't think there's going to be a Steve Cooper masterclass? Yeah, no, neither, bro. I think Man City for sure. Like, no chance. It's going to be Man City, definitely.
Man City are just on, you know, like, what is it called? Just autopilot or whatever. They're just fucking cruising right now. So, yeah.
Steve Cooper masterclass. This ain't Chelsea. All right. Brentford, Everton. I'm going to go with the Brentford at home.
Yeah, I agree. Brentford at home. Too strong.
Yeah.
Everton's in forward too.
Man, it's a tough one. This one I'm actually up in arms about because I feel the same way about Luton that I do about Everton. They're going to start at some point. They're going to beat somebody, and it's going to be random, and you're not going to know when it's going to happen. But I think Everton. I think they're going to at some point. I think something's going to click, and they're going to pull something out. So I go Everton. Yeah.
Well, I mean, you look at Sean Dice, right, and you expect him to make a difference at Everton. But it's just not happening. I mean, like they could have played for 2 hours, 3 hours against. Sorry, they could have played for like 5 hours against Arsenal. They would have never scored. I mean, they didn't have any threat whatsoever. I never saw any sort of anybody running into the box trying to like give some support or anything. I mean, there's no motivation there either. Like they're getting relegated. So Everton relegation.
Right,
2023, 24.
Locking the parlay, and Embuemo is PK. So Embuemo and Neto, we're locking that parlay. Manchester United, Burnley. Let's go, Kelmend.
Oh, good question. Draw. We're not winning on the road. We're terrible on the road. I'm not giving us any credit. We're drawing this game. Onana's gonna have another performance.
Yeah. Yeah. I think Kompany is actually a really good manager. I think United. I think our high press is gonna fuck them. I think they're gonna try and play out, and our high press I actually quite like when we do it well. And I saw it against Bayern for a little bit. So, yeah, going out on a limb, I'm gonna say United. Yeah, going out on a limb, backing United against fucking Burnley. Yeah, Christ, what is my life? But yes, I think United. Right. So I think it's Man United. Hopefully.
Yeah, I agree. I think Manchester United will get a result here. I think Vincent Kompany is the most overrated manager of all time. So we'll see about their season this year. So I think they're going to get relegated along with Everton.
Can we talk about that? What,
no,
the most over of all time? Oh, fuck, I want to talk about it. Okay.
Not of all time. Maybe that was a little bit overstating, but he's so overrated. I mean, he's done nothing in the Premier League, and everyone's like, he's so good. And I'm like, I don't see it. I really don't. He doesn't do anything on the side. I mean, I watch him on the games, and he doesn't really do anything. He just stares. I don't see him telling players what to do. I don't see him talking to the coaches. I don't know what he's doing, honestly. So that's just an outsider looking in. That's what I see. So,
fair enough.
Yeah. Anyway.
All right, I'm going to take United. I think it's going to come off of it's a 1-0 win. It's going to be Reguilon connection to Højlund, little header, boom, back post. Let's get it, baby. All right, on to the next one. Talking about men out of the lineup. We're not going to come at Victor Kompany, not on this podcast, and no men are in that Spurs lineup. So what I say is Arsenal 3, Spurs 0 is going to be a masterclass, as it always is. Give a one to 2000. Shit, I don't even know.
Yeah.
Go, Kel.
I'm going to take Spurs 2-1 this one.
Damn, stole my thunder.
Yeah, it's Arsenal. Got to be Arsenal, I think. These games never end in a draw. I think Arsenal at home. I think if you lose, oh my God, there will be riots. So, yeah, I think Arsenal winning at home.
I would be surprised if Spurs win, to be honest, at the Emirates after what Arsenal have done last season. And they're continuing the building. God, I cannot talk. They're constantly building their squad to be better, right? So after last season, I really don't see a win yet, at least from Spurs. So I'd say a draw at the best, but I wouldn't be surprised if Arsenal win 2-1, so 3-1 even. So.
Gotcha. I'm sorry about my friend Kelmend. He doesn't speak English. All right, so Brighton versus Bournemouth. Kelmend, how are your boys doing?
Seagulls, easy win. It's walk in the park this game.
Okay.
They're going to rest some of their key players, prepare for the next game.
Yep. I agree.
Fati's getting his first goal, first start.
Yep. I think.
Wait, who are they playing?
Yeah. Bournemouth at home.
Bournemouth.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. I think Brighton. Yeah. But too good for Bournemouth. I think they'll come back. They lost in Europe, so I think it's going to be like, show me a reaction, kind of deal. So I think, at home, too much for Bournemouth, I think.
Yeah, they Bournemouth couldn't score against Chelsea, so if that tells you anything, last week. So, and Brighton, I mean, they can score goals. We know that. So yeah, that's an obvious one for me.
All right, we'll take Brighton at the Amex. Next, Chelsea versus Aston Villa, kind of a tasty game. I'm gonna go with Aston Villa. I see a team that can't score, and I see a team that could probably do it to you.
Wait, who's home? Do you know?
Chelsea.
Okay.
Go.
This is a tasty one. I think it'll be a 1-goal game. I think Chelsea's gonna pull through. They show up in big games. They can't beat the little teams, but they show up in big games.
Okay.
Yeah.
They beat Luton. That's it this season.
Well, they'll show up.
They tied Liverpool.
Cal, I think we're on the same wavelength here. Maybe just because we've both been hurt so much before, but yeah, I agree. I think Chelsea. I think it's gonna be a really good game. I think this is one of this and the North London derby is probably the best 2 games of the game week. I think. Yeah. So there you go, Chelsea.
Wait, sorry, Chelsea against who again? Sorry.
Chelsea, Aston Villa, Chelsea at home.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, I definitely fancy. I think it's a tie actually, because Aston Villa haven't won a game away from home all year. I don't think. I have to look back at it, but I'm pretty sure that's right. So they win all their home games, lose all their away games so far this year. So I think it'll probably be a draw. Chelsea, I think they'll squeeze a couple goals in maybe with Sterling, but I don't see them winning. I think it'll just be a draw. DJ?
We're going to have to look back in notes. I said Villa's going to win. You just gave a lot of praise to Emery, but said it was going to be a draw. Interesting. All right, next we're going to go to Liverpool versus West Ham, which I think is the second tastiest, and I think we're going to see a lot of goals. I think 3-2 Liverpool.
Yeah, I think Liverpool, not 3-2 though. They're gonna easily get this win. It'll be like a 3-0, maybe 3-1 game.
Okay.
Yeah, I think easy Liverpool win. To be honest, I think they dismantle West Ham at Anfield. Yeah, easiest choice.
Yeah, I think Liverpool will win. West Ham will give them a run for their money, but just same thing with last week with West Ham against City. City came out with the win. They scored a goal, West Ham, but they're not going to win.
Okay, and then lastly, we'll round up the weekend, week 6, game week 6 with Newcastle at Sheffield. Kelmend.
Newcastle road win. I'll give it to them. That's all I need to say for that one.
Yep, same. I think too much for Sheffield. Yep, agreed. I
think it'll be another draw because I don't know, man. This is going to be another good game. I think. It's Sheffield or Nottingham? Who'd you say?
Sheffield. Parker, come on, man.
Oh, okay. Never mind. I thought you said Nottingham. So, yeah, I think Newcastle will win this one. Sorry. So many teams we're talking about. I'm just getting confused. But yeah, Newcastle. I think they're going on a run right now. They're gonna keep that momentum towards the last half of the first half of the season, I guess, until Christmas. So yeah, I see them with the win.
Yeah, I mean, I see them with a win. I really hope they bring the same 15 minutes that they brought to the San Siro. If they do that,
that's generous. 15 minutes is generous.
That is very generous because I saw no attacking efforts after that. So Newcastle win. Isak's on the score sheet, and that's going to round out this week. I think one last thing, I'm going to do we'll do some kind of competition within us. We'll speak internally, but if we have a fantasy Premier League performer of the week, who's it going to be? Kelmend, go first.
I said it when we were going through predictions. Haaland hat-trick. It's going to be Haaland.
Okay.
I'm going second, and it seems like I'm copying Kelmend, but we're obviously, yeah, I agree. Haaland, I mean, they're playing fucking Forest at home. How can you not say Haaland's going to be the performer of the week? That or Mo Salah scoring a couple against West Ham.
Wow. I'm going to say Sonny against Arsenal just because he has a good record against Arsenal. I think he scored a couple times. I don't know. That's what I'm hoping for anyway. So being optimistic.
I'll round it out by talking about the North London derby. I think Gabriel Jesus has a brace and an assist, and we're going to close it out on that. All right, gentlemen, thank you so much for joining us, guys. If you liked it, please subscribe, like, and we'll move on from there. We're signing out. Thank you.
Peace out.